I'm going to approach this question just a little bit differently than I typically do with word problems, in that I'm not going to write down the information as I come to it this time, and I'll explain why when I get to it. Instead, I'll read through the problem and eventually see that the question is to find the amount of interest saved. That makes this an unearned interest problem. So I'm going to begin with writing down the formula within the lesson for unearned interest. And it is U, standing for unearned interest, equals K times R times H over 100 plus H. And we need to know what all these letters stand for. K is the number of payments remaining. In the situation that's described here, it's a 48-month loan, and he wants to pay it off on his 42nd payment. That means there are 6 payments left over. So that's the K that we need. R is the monthly payment. And the reason we're using R is for recurring, because monthly is a recurring payment. In this particular question, the recurring payment is $387.50. The letter H, that's the part that's kind of complicated. That stands for the finance charge per $100 borrowed, but not for the original loan. This is the finance charge per $100 borrowed for a loan that has the same APR as the original loan, but only 6 payments. What that ultimately means is the first thing we're going to need to do before proceeding is finding the APR of the original loan. The first thing we're going to need to know to find the APR is the finance charge. And the finance charge is going to come from finding how much money we're actually paying for this vehicle and then subtracting off the value of the loan. Well, the amount that we're going to be paying is 48 times $387.50. That's the sum of all the payments. And that works out to be $18,600. If you subtract off the price, which was $16,500, you get $2,100. There's our finance charge. In order to use the APR table, we're going to need to know the finance charge per $100 borrowed. And the way we calculate that is to take the finance charge, which we just found, divide by the value of the loan, which is $16,500, and then multiply that by $100. The reason for the multiplying by 100 is this calculation would give me the finance charge per dollar. I want the finance charge per $100. And that works out to be $12.72. Now we're going to need the APR table. Space is at a bit of a premium here, so for now I just slap the APR table over everything. Don't worry, I'll remove it later. And to find the APR, we know that the finance charge per $100 borrowed for this loan is $12.72, and we know it was originally a 48-month loan. Well, what we want to do is look at the 48 payments a row, find the finance charge per 100 closest to what we calculated, $12.72. Well, looky here, $12.73, super, that's almost exactly right. Following up along that column, that tells us that the APR for this loan is 6%. So we'll record that down here. Now finally we can find what H is, because H is the finance charge per $100 for a loan that has the same APR as the original, which is 6%, and the number of payments matching the number remaining, which is 6. So we take the 6% column, the 6 payments row, and we find $1.76. And finally, we know what H is to be used in our unearned interest formula. Now, finally, I'll tell you also why I didn't just write down information as I came to it. When I realized this was going to be an unearned interest formula problem, I decided I should start by writing down the formula, and then that guides me into understanding what exactly it is I need in order to plug into that formula. Now that I know all the information needed for the formula, I can go ahead and compute the value or the amount of unearned interest. K is 6, that's the number of remaining payments. R is the recurring payment of $387.50. H we just found is 176. We divide that by 100 plus H, which is going to be 101.76. And do some calculating. Multiplication upstairs, divide by 101.76. And what pops out to the nearest cent is $40.21. Finally, an answer. That's the unearned interest, so that's the amount of money the borrower would save if he decides to pay the loan off on the 42nd payment.